do some fire prevention today. I'm going to leave you with some statistics, some things to think about for the safety of your family. The first thing I'm going to mention is this 3,000, actually in 2008 it was recorded that 3,320 people died because of residential fires that were recorded by NIFRS, which is a fire system that would record throughout the United States how many people with death or residential fires. There were 16,705 related residential fires that injuries occurred from the actual residency fire. 84% of deaths occurred in residencies, not buildings or actual taxpayers or high rises. Most of them were residential fires. Back when I was a young gentleman, I got interested into the fire service. When I was 13, I saw firefighters, racing to fires on the fire trucks and got all excited with the lights and sirens and didn't realize, that there was more to firefighting than just, going to the fires. When I was down in North Carolina and I had a structure fire that I was going to, which was a residential fire, I realized that when the ceiling was coming down on me and everything else, and I was sucking my air tank dry as I was exiting the structure after I heard 3 long air blasts. And what that means, when you're inside a structure fire and you hear 3 long air blasts, that means to get out because there's imminent collapse that's going to occur and they want the firefighters to actually get out. So at that time when I got out of the residence, I realized that I had 3 children still inside the residence that I couldn't go back to rescue. So at that point in my mind, I realized that fire prevention is something that I take personally to heart and that I want to continue on throughout my career as a fireman to teach people about, more than just stop, drop, and roll and the basics that we teach our kids in school. It needs to be actually taught at home as well as in the school system. Leaving those with those statistics that I've started with, I'm going to start off with the smoke detectors. I can see little Mackenzie's interested in this. This right here is actually a smoke detector and a CO detector. When it goes off, it basically gives you a voice alarm. It also sends off a beep. And you have to check this just like any other smoke detector. You should check your smoke detectors at least once a month. The batteries should be changed out at least 6 months. Every 6 months you need to pull them out. Even if you know they're good, pull them out, put new ones in. This is just a regular kitty smoke alarm. Like I said, you can get the regular smoke alarm or the CO combination. And the good thing about these smoke detectors, you have to make sure that they have like a UL, which is a UL listing that basically approves these detectors to be reliable. Kitty is a very good detector. Those are the ones that I would recommend. The next topic that I'm going to move on to is cooking fire safety. Mainly families gather in the kitchen. We do a lot of cooking in our residencies. We have propane feeds. We have electrical stoves. We have many appliances in there that actually are the main cause of a lot of fires in residential buildings. Actually, cooking fires are the #1 cause of actual residency home fires because people have utilized their stoves for heating. There's a large buildup of grease that's in the stoves or on top of the stoves, or they have combustible materials piled near the actual ovens and whatnot, and they leave it unattended, so that actually causes the combustible material to ignite. The unattended cooking, people start cooking, and what they do is they realize that they have to go check on the kids, or they're watching a program on TV, or they decide to go out because they want to run to the supermarket downstairs. We have a lot of those in New York City where people are actually leaving their residence. They leave their actual stuff cooking on the stove as they leave the residency, and that's one major thing that you shouldn't do because that actually, as you know, will catch fire if you're gone for a period of time. Another thing is when you're hooking up your stoves, your microwaves, your toasters, or any of those appliances within your kitchen, you need to make sure that you read the manufacturer's specifications in there. because most of the time, you know, people start hooking it up to extension cords or plugging like 4 things into a, you know, an actual outlet and oversurging it, which causes an electrical dysfunction in the actual hard wiring in the residency, which starts a fire. Another thing is like I was just mentioning, plugging in appliances. Your major appliances such as stoves, microwaves, toasters, refrigerators, they all should be, you know, plugged in separately in their own outlet base, not anything that, you know, has an actual, you know, has extension cords running into it, or even these surge protectors here, even though these are, you know, UL rated, you have to make sure that your appliances are actually tied into an actual outlet themselves. Heating fires are a whole other scenario. You know, you got your steam heat, which is one of the best, but steam heat, actually, people can actually lay combustible materials on it, such as clothing and stuff. That can ignite if they leave it there too long. Actually, heating fires are the second known leading cause of fires in residential homes. Once, you know, basically leading, it's a leading cause within the fall and the winter time frame. Also, heating fires usually most residential fires, such as heating, they usually fall within the mid 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. time frame. Chimney fires, if there's fireplaces, a lot of people, they don't clean them, which builds up a creosote, and creosote is basically like almost like a tar inside the chimney, and it actually starts fire. So when you actually have heating things, you should have, you know, your chimney cleaned out, your oil furnaces cleaned out, make sure there's no buildup of residue, and you should get it done by a professional actually certified to do that. Also with your dryers, make sure that the lint and all that filter is cleaned out, because basically those filters can hold all that lint in there, and that can catch fire. The other thing is when you're using portable heaters, such as, you know, electrical heaters, kerosene heaters, any of those, make sure they have an automatic shut-off if there's a tip over. Also, the other thing is when you're filling these kerosene and all these other things, obviously fill them outside, because that you don't want those buildup of gases or whatnot inside. Electrical fires, I'm going to hit that briefly. 67,800 fires are caused by electricity. 485 deaths yearly are caused from electrical fires. And the electrical fires, mainly I want to hit upon, you know, like this wire here. This is a fixed wire in your home. You got the ground, you got the positive, and you got the negative wires. What happens is these wires start fraying. A lot of people in their residency have aluminum-based wiring, such as the new UL-rated wiring. Basically, what they want to do is they want to get rid of the aluminum because they heat up relatively quickly. And what that does is causes a lot of electrical fires within inside the wall. Or like I said, if you don't have one of these surge protectors and you're plugging everything into one outlet, or you're overriding an outlet, it's going to override it. It could burn up in the actual outlet box downstairs. So you want to make sure that you're not overloading the actual outlets. Secondly, go ahead and, like I pointed out, use one of these surge protectors when you're actually running an extension cord. The other ones that people were using, those brown little small ones, those burn up quite bad. A lot of people are still using them. They came out in the 50s and 60s. Get rid of them. They don't work. All right, today I covered mainly 3 subjects. I covered, you know, actually 4. The smoke detectors and cooking fires, heating fires, and electrical fires. If you don't remember anything out of all this, make sure that you don't forget the statistics that I left you with. Also, practice fire safety, because it is your family's lives and your lives. If you don't, very much, guys.